Gotta play that song before. There's like 3 books I'm doing. And I post it out live as I'm doing them or whatever. And if I don't do that before these 3 books, well, I cut off part of my readings. I'm not always going to explain this to who's ever listening, if there's anybody. But I thought I would take the time right now to let you know that. Because when I'm reading, I'm usually pretty serious about it. It's tough. I got to pay attention. Anyways, chapter 5, Confucianism and Taoism. Hold on, give me one moment. Holy shit. This is a short one. Maybe I'll read 2. I doubt it. I'm just going to read 1. I'll tell you how long I've been going. I'm going an hour and some fucking time. This one's going to be a short one. Chapter 5, Confucianism and Taoism. Previous to the Christian era, China, judging from the available annals, presented the spectacle of a country whose social life was based almost solely on what might be called the family cult, the metaphysical tradition overshadowing the life of the people, leading to the monotheistic belief in a supreme being, was the knowledge and belief of a few. Vaguely, the people believed in the monarch alone held communication with the sublime sovereign of God. The rites had nothing of a religious character. They were purely social. Then, in 1122 BC, when the Chinese dynasty of Changyin was overthrown by the Zhou, there were introduced in China numerous innovations, most of them pertaining to magic and occultism. Also, Brahmanistic and Avestic dogmas and beliefs. The whole construction of social ideology in China had undergone a slow but radical change. The ground was prepared for the pantheistic teaching of the philosopher Lao Tse, whose doctrine was bitterly fought by Confucius, 551 to 479, who opposed the dualistic theory and strove to regenerate the former state of Chinese social life, the cult of the family and ancestors. It's hard for me to read like that. So, I mean, I know it might make, I don't know if that makes sense to you, but I got to read it the way I read it so that it makes sense to me. Moreover, the whole moral code of Confucius was contained in a few words: loyalty and good feeling towards one neighbor. Only about 65 AD was Buddhism introduced in China, followed in turn by Mazdaism, Manchanism, and Mohammedanism. I'm going to read Egyptian esotericism too, because Judaism is a longer one. So I want to get through that. I want to get through Egyptian esotericism. Yeah, don't worry. Chapter 6. More than any other country, ancient Egypt was an illustration of theocratic power. There, priesthood ruled and adumbrated royalty. Depositaries of the Indo-Iran tradition of Ra, Zoroaster, and Manu, the priests of Thebes and Memphis, made of Egypt the fortress of antique esotericism. The sovereign lord, god, and teacher bore the name of Hermes or Thoth, the great initiator. In him were typified the 3 great powers of royalty, law-giving or legislative, and high priesthood, which made the Greeks, disciples of the Egyptians, surname him Hermes Trismegistus, or thrice great. To Hermes was credited a large number of books containing the secrets of Indo-Aryan occult science. Fire was the first principle, the basis of all teaching, and the law of Amun-Ra, the sun god of Thebes. Only after the conquest of Egypt by the Hyksos, 2000 BC, did the priests spread among the people the cult of Osiris and Isis and their son Horus. This popular religion served as a screen which most effectively shielded the Hermetic mysteries from the intrusion and disclosure and safeguarded ancient and Aryan esotericism, which had to fear annihilation at the hands of the priesthood of the Black or Ethiopian race, whose esotericism was based upon a different conception of occult and psychic knowledge. A striking example of the rivalry of the two esoteric schools is given in the Bible when Moses and Aaron, practicing the magic taught them by the Ethiopian Jethro, failed to confound the Egyptian priests before Pharaoh. Concealed behind the popular cult of Osiris and Isis was the soul of an Egyptian esotericism which no one could reach except after having been deemed worthy to penetrate the most sacred mysteries of Isis, whose statue, with its face veiled, stood before the door of the Temple of Occultism. The trials of initiation which a candidate had to withstand before he beheld the light of Osiris and understood the vision of Hermes were long and terrible. They were interspersed, however, by states of trance induced by special beverages, during which the initiate had voluptuous visions of Isis preceded by the five-pointed flamboyant star or the rose of Isis. Two great flowing currents issued from the esoteric wisdom, jealousy safeguarded by the Egyptians, namely Mosaism or Judaism, taught by Moses, whose god was Jehovah, and Orpheism, taught by Orpheus, whose god was Zeus or Jupiter. The former adapted his beliefs to suit the mentality of undisciplined, rebellious masses of Israelites in Egypt, hence a god of fear and vengeance. The later legislated for a people whose Hellenic genius touched the sublime heights of philosophic wisdom on the one hand, and sought on the other to carry its irrepressible sense of beauty and lightheartedness in its pursuit of material pleasures. Hence the great difference between the two currents which have derived their initial teaching from the same source. Damn! That sounds pretty cool. Yeah, chapter 8 is Judaism, the Pharisees.